The shimmering portal spat me out into a dingy alley, the kind of place where shadows seemed to have a life of their own, whispering secrets to those who dared to listen. The stench of stale beer and desperation hit me like a physical blow, mingling with the acrid scent of decay and neglect. It was a stark contrast to the pristine environments I was accustomed to. Earth, not quite the paradise the elders described. I, Zyla, daughter of Zil, was sent on a mission of utmost importance, Project Hypnosis. The fate of our worlds depended on my success. Our two worlds, once separated by vast galaxies, were now on a collision course. The stars themselves seemed to tremble at the impending disaster, a collision our people, the Zephyrians, wished to avoid at all costs. The consequences would be catastrophic, not just for us, but for the humans as well. My task was clear: subtly bend the will of humankind, steer them away from the impending conflict. It was a delicate operation, requiring finesse and precision. A simple enough task for a Zephyrian equipped with the power of suggestion. Our abilities were honed over millennia, making us masters of influence. All it took was a look, a touch, and the human mind would mould to my will, or so I thought. The reality was far more complex. The elders warned me about human resistance, their chaotic emotions. They spoke of the unpredictability that lay within each human heart. I scoffed. How difficult could it be to control creatures so primitive? Their technology was laughable, their understanding of the universe rudimentary. Oh, the naivety of youth, the arrogance. I was in for a rude awakening. The first human I tried to influence reacted with a mixture of confusion and defiance. My first attempts were unsuccessful, to put it mildly. Their minds, a tangled mess of contradictions, were resistant to my touch. It was as if they had an innate defense mechanism. Their minds, a tangled mess of contradictions, were resistant to my touch. They were not the simple beings I had imagined. Each mind was a labyrinth of thoughts and emotions. They flinched away from my gaze, their eyes clouded with suspicion, fear. It was clear that my approach needed to be more nuanced. The elders were right. Humans were more complicated than I anticipated. Their resilience was both a challenge and a marvel. I had much to learn if I was to succeed in my mission. Frustration gnawed at me. Each day felt like a relentless cycle of hope and disappointment. I had come to this planet with a mission, a purpose, but it seemed like the universe had other plans for me. The more I tried to blend in, the more I felt like an outsider, a misfit in a world that wasn't mine. Days turned into weeks, each attempt at suggestion met with failure. The changing seasons mirrored my internal struggle, each failed attempt at connection leaving me more isolated. I watched as people around me lived their lives, seemingly oblivious to the alien in their midst. This planet, this Earth, was beginning to feel less like a mission and more like a prison. The bustling cityscape, once a symbol of opportunity, now felt like a cage. Then I met him, a man, if you could call him that. He seemed to possess an aura that set him apart from everyone else. There was something almost otherworldly about him, tall with a mop of unruly brown hair and eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. His presence was both comforting and unsettling, a paradox I couldn't quite understand. He found me in my secluded corner of the park, sketching the gargoyles perched atop the cathedral. It was my escape, my way of coping with the overwhelming sense of alienation. He didn't flinch away from my gaze. His eyes met mine with a steadiness that was both unnerving and reassuring. He didn't recoil from my touch. His hand, warm and steady, met mine with a familiarity that felt almost predestined. He introduced himself as Daniel, an artist like me. His voice was calm, soothing, a stark contrast to the chaos in my mind. He spoke of colours and light, of capturing the soul of a subject on canvas. His passion was palpable, infectious even. For the first time in a long while, I felt a spark of hope. I, usually so eloquent, stumbled over my words, my carefully constructed lies feeling like ash in my mouth. It was as if his presence stripped away my defences, leaving me vulnerable and exposed. He saw through my facade, I was sure of it. His gaze was penetrating, as if he could see the very essence of my being, but instead of fear or suspicion, his eyes held curiosity, intrigue. It was a look I had never encountered before, one that made me feel for the first time that I might not be so alone after all. We spent hours talking, days melting into each other like watercolors on a page. He spoke of human history, their triumphs and follies, their capacity for great love and unspeakable cruelty. I spoke of Zephyria, of star-dusted skies and cities that shimmered like jewels. He listened with an openness that disarmed me. He looked at me not with the fear or lust I had encountered in others, but with genuine interest. He saw me. For the first time since I arrived on this chaotic planet, I felt seen, understood. The carefully constructed walls around my heart, built to protect me from the very emotions I was sent to exploit, began to crumble. I found myself confiding in him about my mission, my people, my fear. He listened, his gaze steady, his silence more comforting than any words could be. Love, a simple word, yet it holds the power to transform lives, to bridge gaps and to heal wounds. It is a force that can neither be seen nor touched, but its presence is felt deeply within the soul. The elders hadn't prepared me for that. They spoke of duty, of honor, of the responsibilities we bear. But love, that was a lesson they never taught. It crept into my life like sunlight through a crack in the wall, warming me, changing me. It was subtle at first, a gentle nudge, a soft whisper. But soon it became a roaring flame, consuming every part of my being. Daniel, with his kind eyes and gentle touch, became my confidant, my friend, my lover. He was the anchor in my storm, the light in my darkness. With him I found a sense of belonging I had never known before. He taught me about laughter, about the beauty of imperfection, about the chaotic wonder that was being human. Through him I learned that life was not about perfection, but about the moments that take your breath away. I, in turn, showed him the wonders of the cosmos, the secrets hidden in the stars. Together, we would lie under the night sky, dreaming of worlds beyond our own, sharing stories of galaxies far away. For the first time, my mission felt wrong. The weight of my purpose began to clash with the newfound emotions that Daniel had awakened in me. Could I condemn a species capable of such love, such passion, to a fate chosen for them, not by them? The question haunted me, gnawing at my conscience. The thought of manipulating Daniel, of using him for my own ends, filled me with a revulsion so profound it shook me to my core. How could I betray the one who had shown me the true essence of humanity? I had come to Earth with a purpose, a mission that was clear and unwavering, but now everything seemed uncertain. But what was purpose in the face of love? In the end, love was the force that redefined my existence, reshaped my destiny, and made me question everything I once believed. The news came like a thunderbolt. I was pregnant. Our child, a hybrid of two worlds, grew within me, a testament to a love the universe itself seemed determined to deny. Fear, sharp and cold, gripped my heart. What would this child be? Zephyrian? Human? An abomination caught between two worlds? The elders demanded I return. They offered to extract the child, to raise it as one of their own, its humanity purged. The thought sent shards of ice through my veins. I looked at Daniel, his face etched with concern, his hand gently resting on my stomach, and I knew I could never let them take our child. I was a Zephyrian, yes, but I was also becoming something else, something new, something human. I chose love. I chose Earth. I chose my family. Section 6. The Weight of Two Worlds, Motherhood. It was a crash course in chaos and unconditional love. Our daughter Lyra was a marvel. Her eyes, a startling shade of violet, held the wisdom of the stars, while her laugh, bright and clear, was pure human joy. Raising her was a balancing act. I taught her of Zephyria, of her heritage amongst the stars. She, in turn, taught me about finger painting and bedtime stories. Daniel was my rock, my anchor in the storm of new parenthood. But the threat of the Zephyrians loomed large. They knew where I was. They knew of Lyra. I had betrayed my people, my mission for love, and they were not known for their forgiveness. Section 7. A mother's love, an alien's duty. The day they arrived, their ship casting an ominous shadow over our small town, I knew what I had to do. I wouldn't let them take Lyra. I wouldn't let them harm Daniel. I stood before them, my daughter cradled protectively in my arms, and for the first time I used my powers not for manipulation but for protection. I showed them Lyra, a perfect blend of their world and mine. I showed them the love in Daniel's eyes, the fear in his heart, the fierce protectiveness of a father. I showed them humanity, not through their limited definition of control and order, but through the lens of compassion, of empathy, of love. Section 8, Harmony in Difference. It was a gamble, a desperate plea from a mother's heart. To my surprise, they listened. They saw Lyra not as an abomination, but as a bridge. They saw Daniel not as a subject to be controlled, but as a species capable of great love. They saw me not as a traitor, but as a daughter who had found her own way. They left not with threats of destruction, but with a promise of peace, a peace built not on control, but on understanding. My people, they were slow to change, set in their ways, but Lyra, with her laughter and her stardust soul, she chipped away at their prejudices, their fear. She became an ambassador for her planet, her very existence a testament to the power of love to bridge even the furthest distances. Section 9. A Future Intertwined. Life wasn't easy. There were whispers, stares, fear, but there was also acceptance, curiosity, and a growing understanding. The universe, it seemed, had a plan after all, not one of conquest, but of coexistence. As I watched Lyra play in the park, her laughter echoing through the trees, I knew I had made the right choice. Earth was no longer a mission, it was home. Love, it turned out, was the most powerful weapon of all. It had the power to break down walls, to bridge galaxies, to heal old wounds. It had the power to change the fate of worlds. And it all started with a look, a touch, and a love that defied the very stars.